what is the coach saying to you? If the coach isn't saying shit and just not putting them in the game or whatever, then that's when you go seek some other help. Says this is the Norfolk State head men's basketball coach. They're asking him about transfer portal, etc., you know, in the mid-majors. He says, basically, we're glorified JUCO. It's easy to get them, hard to retain them, okay? And listen, here's the thing that I think people on the outside don't really understand. College basketball has actually been this way for a long time. It's just now really coming to light in action, being exposed like in action. Before it was just thoughts. And what I mean is players were usually all for themselves, and then they would come into the program, they would have a bond with some of the players on the team, become close to some of the players on the team, but they were mentally and emotionally removed from the coaching staff for the most part. Coaching staff, same thing. They have their own agenda, their own plans, you know, they have their own staff. You know, they're kind of removed from the individual players and the individual players' careers and all of that. It's two completely different paths, different journeys, different dreams, goals. That's always been said. There's always been a lot of tension between coaches and players. There's always been a lot of tension between players and players. You know, people have basically are trying to live their dream, trying to reach their goals, and you take all these people and you put them together, you hope some stuff aligns, but at the end of the day, people really don't give a fuck about the other. You know what I mean? You are going to have players become close friends and develop great relationships with some individuals, but overall, with transfers and kids getting injured, leaving, all types of stuff that goes on in a college program, it's always disconnected. But these are usually just feelings that players and coaches would have. Sometimes discussions come up and all of those things, but there's never any action about it. Well, now, combining collective NIL money with the transfer rules, now it's action. Now it's players actually leaving. Now it's coaches actually pushing kids into that portal. They've always been pushing kids to leave, and players have always been trying to leave, but these have always been feelings. Now they can act on it, you know? I can for sure tell you I have no plans on playing you. We don't think you developed into the player we hoped you would be. Go into the portal. There's action right there. Same thing, the player, I don't like this, I don't like that. I'm gone, I'm jumping in the portal. There's action. Before you would have a player feeling like that, but a player may not really transfer because there's a lot of uncertainty. They don't want to have to sit out a year if they transfer the same level or transfer up. So they would kind of just eat it sometimes and just let it play out however it played out. Now there's immediate action when these things happen. And so what it does is it now sheds light on, or it now brings up more of the conversation of what is causing the action, which is the money tied in with the rules, the transfer rules. Well, now that we're here, here's the things that people really got to understand and think about. If you're a coach, if you are a college coach out there at any level, the player doesn't care about you. They don't care about the school. They don't care about the tradition of the program in the school. They don't care about your knowledge. They don't care about your record. They don't care. They are there for their own individual social currency and physical currency. They care about what being in the program can do for their personal brand or them as a player in general, them on their future. Now, of course, people have always felt that way, but now it's so much more on the forefront. And when they have that action, that immediate action saying, I'm leaving today and I'm going there, or I'm literally telling you in the meeting, or better yet, my agent is telling you in the meeting, we need this much money, we need this, that, and the third I need these luxuries during the year or I'm gone. That is action that is now backing up their thoughts and their feelings. So coaches really have to check their ego because the players don't give a fuck. They have a lot of options. They don't care about who you are. It's what can you do for me right here, right now? And if you can't, I'm out. And then on the other side, again, coaches have always wanted to push kids into the transfer portal. They have always wanted to get rid of kids on their team who didn't pan out the way they hoped. That's been going on forever. But now there's action, there's tangible action to do it. Like I can actually tell, before they had to beat around the bush and try to give you reasons or give you hints that like, hey, I don't like you, I don't want you on my team, so you should think about transferring yourself. Now they just, it's a tangible thing. Go in the portal, let's try to go play somewhere else. We have no plans on playing you. And then on top of that, I can make real moves, you know, with these other players that I couldn't in the past because of the rules. I can do things about it to make sure that you leave and I get who I want. I can do things about it. So, and also on the coach's side these days, the coaches, again, they really don't give a fuck about the player, which they can't give a fuck about the player anymore because the player doesn't give a fuck about the coach or the program. So you can't blame them. So the coach is now more than ever worried about job security, worried about their legacy, worried about money, worried about deals. Now more than ever. Again, they always have, but because these things have come to light, because you combine new transfer rules with new financial rules, these things are at the forefront. So that coach at Norfolk State, you know, he's kind of expressing like, well, yeah, it's just JUCO now. It's easy to get them, hard to retain. And he's right. I'm just trying to give you guys some insight on how we got there, what makes that happen. And I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't care. I'm not here to say. I don't know if it's something you should, whether it makes the player a piece of shit or whether it makes the coach a piece of shit. I don't care. I'm not making that judgment. I'm just trying to give you the back end of perspective of what is going on. And I'm going to add the third element in here, okay? There's 3 elements. There's the money, there's the transfer rules, and there is social media. Again, which we've always had. We have always had social media in society. The difference was it wasn't always on a digital thing in an app on a phone or whatever. But we've always had media outlets in society. Well, with it being social media in the form that we know it now, the social media aspect makes the money in the social currency. When I say social currency, I'm talking about the persona, the public figure aspect, the brownie points, the cachet, the clout that a person gets. That's what I mean when I say social currency. Well, now the player cares so much about that stuff because of social media, because when they post that they're going to a certain school and they talk about, an NIL deal, or they post a picture with, a new car or a fucking new chain or something when they just, came from nothing in high school, that heightens. Like, so, okay, if I got to go to this school and this school got me this stuff, and then I can take that school and that stuff and post it up on my Instagram account, and my followers go up and my brand goes up and my social currency goes up. Now I I love the play. I love the play of being able to choose what school I go to, give them demands, get things from it, and then get feedback from people online. That 3-headed dog right there has got us to this point. That's what got us to have a coach like that one at Norfolk say, this is just glorified JUCO. We can get them, we can't retain them. That's where we're at with sports, with the college sports. Again, whether it's fair or not fair, I don't know, man. But I'm just giving people the insight. The coaches have always felt this way. The players have always felt this way. It's just major heightened and at the forefront, and major action is being taken every day because of the new rules, because of money and NIL, and because of social media. All right, well, let me get to another topic. I hit on this a little bit on my story, the Instagram story yesterday, which is the parents' expectations. At this time in sports, parents and players' expectations versus their actions. And a lot of the times, I just don't see them matching up. And what I mean by that is, parents will come with demands or, a standard that they're looking for in a team, a program, a coach, a trainer, a tournament. an event, they have these certain standards that they come with. But then they'll do things and say things that don't add up to a type of person who has those standards, right? And so the biggest thing, I'm going to speak for tournament directors right now. I know all the AAU people are going to feel this and appreciate me saying this. If you're running a tournament, the first thing all the coaches want to do now, because you got to remember the coaches are parents. The coaches are parents. You got to remember that. The first thing they want to do is who's in the tournament? What time are we playing? Can we play at this certain time? They ask for all these demands. They have all these standards, right? Back, 20 years ago, you just sign up and you shut the fuck up and wait until someone gives you some information. That's how it used to go. Well, now there are too many outlets. There are too many tournaments. There are too many leagues. There are too many things to do, so people feel like they have options. And they feel like they can come with these demands, and if you don't meet those demands, they just go to the next thing. I'm not mad at anybody for that. That's just the market. But here's where I think we got a problem. Here's where I think you may have a problem as a parent, as a coach, as a player. You're coming with all these demands and standards as if you're like that. But you're telling me you can only play at a certain time because you got a party or a vacation or another sport or some bullshit. Wait, those don't match up. The people who really stand on those standards, they're all in. Should be. They're all in. We are basketball players. We are here for it. We're trying to do everything we can to be the best we possibly can. We're committed. We're locked in. Tell me whatever I got to do and we're going to be there and show up and do it to our best ability. That's not, people like that don't give a fuck who's in the tournament. We'll play anybody. Who you got? Good, bad, horrible. They don't care about the times of the games. They don't care about any of that stuff. It's just commitment and execution. Now you have, and to me, call it what you want. I'm just trying to, be 100% honest about it. To me, that's prima donna activity. That's prima donna traits. That's prima donna shit you're putting out there. Hey, I want everything to be a certain way, but I'm really not even like that myself. I need everything to be high level, but I don't want to do high level shit. I don't want to be a high level mindset person. That's prima donna stuff. And, a lot of what I think is, I'm 34. I was born in 1990. So I'm old to a kid now, but I'm young in parents. Like, a lot of parents are my age. A lot of parents who now have kids in elementary school and middle school are my age, around my age, real close. We grew up in the 90s, in the early 2000s, we grew up much different than they did in the 70s and 80s. We grew up much more coddled. We grew up softer. We grew up with more options, more outlets. So we had more demands than our parents and our grandparents. And now when we are the parents in the driver's seat, well, it's no wonder that we have different expectations than, our parents did. So when we were in tournaments, our parents didn't ask those questions. Like, we're just locked in. We got this shit going on. What do we got to do? We're coming. Well, things got better. We got more outlets. We're used to growing up in the 2000s as this shit starts to change. So now we don't even act like our parents. We don't act like our parents. We act brand new. Nah, we need a certain team to be there. We don't want to come. Nah, we got to play at certain times and we don't want to come. Nah, we're not trying to go there. It got to be at a certain spot, or you know what? We're really not doing it. We got all this shit. And I'm not mad at that if across the board, we're really there with our mindset. We're really all in committed. But you can't be telling me you want games at a certain time and day. You want basketball games to be at a certain day and time, but you got lacrosse games or you got track going on or some shit. So you're not so sure if you can make it. You are either in or you are out. That is a winner's mindset to me. To me. That's my opinion. You could disagree. I could be wrong. I love using Malik Thomas as an example because he's a Pittsburgh kid. As of right now, he's training to be one of the, biggest, most popular, most promising players in the entire country, maybe in the world in a few years when he gets to the NBA. So I like using him for an example. And I don't know Malik at all. Don't know him. Don't know his family, nothing. Don't know his people. I don't know anything about him. I just seen him play basketball since he was young. But I know for a fact, he didn't give a fuck about none of that. Where are we hooping? You tell me where to be. You tell me who we're playing. I don't even know who we're playing. I'm going to show up and I'm going to give 110% because I live for this shit. That's the mentality that you have to have, in my opinion, to hit your potential. That's the mentality you should have when you sign up for things. You don't ask all these goofy questions. You don't care about all these goofy things. All of that is irrelevant to you getting on the floor and giving your best effort and getting better. Am I missing something? Am I crazy? I don't care what sport it is. I don't care what activity it is. An employee, someone who has no aspirations or ability to ever be a CEO or a fucking CEO, to run their own business, to be the boss, to be the owner. But they're just like, hey, I want to move up as high as I can, get the biggest job title, make the most money, and be the most secure. That person is going to come into the company day one. Hey, man, you need me to wash the fucking sink? Do you need me to clean the bathrooms? Do you need me to run and get the coffees? Do you need me to run the numbers? Do you need me to do the financing? Do you need me to do sales? Whatever you need me to do, I got it. Sign me up and I'm going to be the best one in the fucking office at it. That's the mindset you would need as an employee to move up the quickest, the highest, and be the most secure. Am I right or wrong with that? Business owners out there, is that the type of employee that you want? People who hire out there, that's what you're looking for, right? People who have moved up themselves in companies out there. You did that. You had that mindset. Yet you have children, 10 years old, and you come into this sports shit with a different mindset. You come into the sports industry with this mindset like the 10 cigarette break guy a day, slacking, talking down on the bosses behind everyone's back, bullshitting, but yet yelling that they need your position. You come in like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? I hope I'm putting it clear. You guys can't come into sports saying you want to do elite things, but having a dog shit mentality. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It does none of that. I'm just saying, if you are a person who wants to skip AAU basketball tournaments because you want to go to a track meet, it doesn't make you a bad person or nothing. I'm just saying, don't talk about no elite basketball shit because you're not fully committed to that. You understand? You're not fully committed to that. And if I am okay, not to get misconstrued, it's okay to be an elite basketball player and fully committed, and just take some time off and do track for a little bit. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm okay with that. If you're going to dip and dabble and say, hey, we'll just show up to basketball when it's convenient, I'm cool with that too. There's nothing wrong with that. Just don't come in making standards and demands like you're really living that shit fully, because you're not. That's the prima donna shit, man. That's what I can't stand. I think that is what is fucking up our youth, our society, us as 40-year-olds, all of that. That's my opinion. And again, I think it's so prevalent now in 2025 because there have never been more outlets. There have never been more options out there for people. So that cigarette smoking, slacking employee can now make all these goofy demands like they're moving up to be the biggest and baddest in the company because there are so many companies out there to work for. So it's like, all right, well, fuck you. I'll go work for these people who let me work remote. I could just be high all day, barely even touching the computer, and still make the salary because they need people. But what's that really going to do for you? I don't know. Maybe there's a way to win that way. I just don't know that way. All right, let's see what I got next. This is weeks ago I had this. I'm super late on this, where Paul George said he was shutting down his podcast. I'll just touch on it real quick because I do think it's interesting. You know, we hit a weird time in the world where professional athletes during the season get on social media and do podcasts and whatever, and have guests, and, you know, I don't know if you guys know, it takes significant time to do anything, to put podcasts together, to put up clips, to physically post, to think out ideas, to have guests. It takes a lot of time. So I think everyone's personalities are different, and there are some people who perform at their best, their top peak, when they actually don't fully consume themselves in an activity. Dennis Rodman used to come out on that on that court and impact the fuck out of the game, be at the top of his game, even though he was smoking and drinking the night before. You know, so you can't say that every person needs to be all in at all times, 1,000% every waking hour of the day in order to perform well. You can't say that. But I think it's fair to estimate that most people, your average person, needs a lot of focus on what they're doing at that moment to be the best. And if not, let me take it a step further. The NBA is paying you. Your team owner is paying you millions and millions and millions of dollars that could be in their pocket if they didn't pay you, right? Off principle, if I'm going to pay you that much and let you reap the benefits of my wealth that I've gained and allow you to live a lifestyle of an NBA player and take 3, 4, 5 months off a year because your season ends, but still pay you these unbelievable amounts of money, just off principle, if I'm the owner, you know, I'm probably going to want you to be all in. I don't know how much, I don't know how much I want you dedicating your time to social media during the season, during times where we need to be focused on, our team and film and strategy to win some games to make sure we clinch playoff spots and things. I don't know. It depends, but I'm just going off logic. I think any employer would feel that way. And so it is quite weird, isn't it, that, NBA players during the season are doing podcasts talking about personal things about other players, talking about the media. It just seems odd, I'm not judging, man. I'm not judging. I'm not saying that I wouldn't be doing it myself because I'm not involved. I'm not an NBA player, but it just, I'm always fascinated with how society moves forward and how things evolve. Like, it's crazy. We hit that point. What do you guys think about that? What do you think about Paul George or any of the NBA players doing podcasts during the season? The only thing that rubs me wrong about it at all is when they critique other players. I remember Allen Iverson said a long time ago, he said, I don't ever want to be an analyst and go on any of those talk shows because I'm not going to be Monday quarterbacking people, man. I don't want to be talking about people in negative light like that. I know what it was like to be talked about that way. I don't want a Monday quarterback and act holier than thou every morning and talk about people. And that always rung true to me. I feel the same way. If I was an NBA player, that's why I don't do it now. Like, I really don't critique now. I'm even right here, right now, doing this Paul George thing is a little cringy to me because you're shining some negative light on people. I think that shit is fucking corny. I don't care how much money you made. I love listening to Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless and all that. At the end of the day, I look down on what they do. I'm being honest with you. I look down on what they do. You shed negative light on people every day. You shed negative light on black men every day. I just don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. I know it's your job and it's interesting and all that. I still don't like it, and I think it's a corny way to make a living. I can't say corny. That's not right because I do enjoy watching it. I do. I think it's below me. I'll be honest with you. I think that's below me. It's weird. I don't like it. There's other ways to get attention, I think, That's just my opinion. I'm not taking anything away from their craft. Stephen A. Smith is amazing at what he does. Skip Bayless is amazing at what he does. A lot of these guys, they're amazing at what they do. They're extremely talented. They're hustlers, all of that. They're influential. I just wouldn't do it. I don't like taking that position. And maybe maybe when I get older, I'll feel differently about that. But I always align with Allen Iverson's thinking on that. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts. How do you guys feel about that? Let me see what else I got in here. Oh, I wanted to hit this one's big for me. I wrote down a little note that the majority of scholarships for young athletes, or the opportunity to get them, is blown in that car ride home with the parent after the game. Let me say that again for you. Those scholarships, most scholarships for young athletes, the chance to get them is blown in those car rides home after their games and practices. Because parents are always conflicting the coach. They're always coddling. They're always pointing the finger. Or the reverse. They're trying to live, they want it more than their kid. They want it for their kid more than their kid. So they're expecting their children to do things that they just can't do, that they just don't have. They're in the car ride, you know, getting on them and cussing them out and shit because they are hurting that the kid isn't doing this, that, and the third. But the kid just wants you to shut up and doesn't care like that, you know? And what that does is it kills the kid's mental ability to ever get to where they need to be. They might have the physical ability. They might have some of the mental ability. But when you can influence a child so much because they're a child, their immature brain. You can influence the child that you parent, the one that lives in your home, so much. So maybe they did have a chance, but you ruin it by the influence that you put in their head. I'll give you an example. Let's just say, you know, a kid who makes all the wrong plays, shoots too many shots, shoots bad shots, and, you know, is out there playing like dog shit, but the parent, every time they get in the car, is dogging the other kid on the team because they score all the points, and they're trying to say that, oh, all they do is shoot, and it's because his dad's the coach. And it's really because, no, your kid is fucking up, doesn't have good skills and IQ, doesn't make the right plays, shoots the wrong shots. But you're fucking his head up, getting in the car, bashing the other kids, saying they're the problem. You know, that's just one example. All of that stuff, you know, something that we see at the academy, which we know for a fact, been seeing it for years. We're hard on the kids. You're not doing this. You're not doing this. This is your fault. This is your fault. You can control this if you just did this better. You don't think about this the right way. We get beat by 20, 30, or we win a game but play like dog shit and don't do not doing the things that we worked on, not holding themselves accountable. But then before they get out the door, we can hear the parent walking out the door with them saying the exact opposite shit. Oh, you played so well. Oh, those team was fouling so much. All of that other shit, pointing all the fingers instead of the thumbs. Those fucking car rides home are what ruin those scholarships before they even get rolling, man. I'm telling you. And so what do you do? What's the right thing? You know, a lot of the times I put out these don'ts, like, hey, don't do this. And I love when I get those comments back, like, okay, well, what should we do? Well, what's the right thing to say? What's the right thing to do? It's tough because it is based off how much you know. So if my if my daughter wants to play soccer, I don't know anything about soccer, zilch, never played it, don't know anything. When it comes to like the IQ of what to do, if she's brand new to it and I'm just seeing it for the first time, I'm not gonna know. I'm not gonna know. So the only thing I can do is say, here's what I would ask. What did your coach say? What is the coaching and the critiques that your coach is giving you? What was he saying when he pulled you out? Let me hear it, let me digest it. Okay, whether I know it's right or wrong, that's what he said to do, then your ass needs to be doing it. Were you fully doing it? I didn't see you doing that out there. Do it. Try to do exactly what he says. And if it doesn't work, me and you, we're watching the game, we'll digest and say, okay, you're doing that and it still ain't working. So he clearly doesn't know. Let me go ask another coach. Let me go find someone who can help you. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing I would do is look at the intangibles. Look at the things that anyone would know regardless how familiar they are with a sport. Are you hustling? Are you trying hard? You know what I mean? What's your demeanor? What's your attitude look like? Are you pepped up, cheering on your teammates, engaging with your teammates? Or are you out there in a shell acting weird and disinterested? Those types of things. If we're playing basketball, are you running? Are you hustling? Are you diving on the floor for loose balls? Are you talking on defense? Are you being aggressive when you have chances to be? Are you shooting the ball when you're wide open? Those little things that anyone could point out. That's what you do. You stick to those things. Stick to what you can identify and what you know. And you ask your kid,